Hello, my name is Ben and welcome back to the channel. A lot of people say to me, Ben, how did your brain get so big? Well, the answer is I have a very big head. But that big head is full of bodybuilding information. Information that can build physiques like Greek gods. And physiques that make you think that is just physically impossible. And how did I build this knowledge? Through bodybuilding quizzes. These are the best way to test your knowledge. And I do them all the time. Today, I am going to be looking at a bodybuilding quiz. So we've got some quizzes here, ranging from sun and steroids. Obviously, I wouldn't do well in that. To basic bodybuilding and even world's strongest men. So there is a lot of different stuff here. I think of myself as one of the cleverest people on the planet. And I often get told, no, you're not. Well, today I'm here to prove myself. Prove that I am one of the cleverest people on the planet. Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton, I've forgotten his name now, Stephen Hawking. Hawkins? My brain can't handle information like that because it's filled with bodybuilding stuff only. So to test it out, we're going to do one of these quizzes and test not only mine, but a little bit of your knowledge as well. Now they rank things along the side here. So they have easy, difficult, tough, average, easy. I don't know if tough is more difficult than difficult. It's hard to tell. Now the first one we're going to try is simple. Basic bodybuilding, general questions about bodybuilding. If you know or have been in the sport, you should have no problem. If you are not familiar with the sport, there's some interesting info. So hopefully, because I am interested in the sport, at least I hope I am, I should do well on this. It's got 1,437 plays. Extremely popular, just like myself. So I'm going to give it a go. It is 10 questions. Easy. Now normally tests I'm not that great at. Just look at my A-levels, GCSEs. Forget those. This isn't school, this is bodybuilding. This means anything less than 90% is shameful. So there's no pressure there at all. I'm just going to have to do really well. 1. The professional designation for the sport of bodybuilding is Bodybuilding International, World Bodybuilding Association, International Federation of Bodybuilders, International Association of Professional Bodybuilding. IFBB Pros, we've heard of those before. Since this is a basic, I wouldn't expect any of the others. So we're going to go IFBB. Simple. I don't know if you knew that, but there we go. What is the correct term for the soreness one feels in a muscle approximately 24 hours after an intense workout with weights? I don't know if it has to be with weights, but we'll see. Post-traumatic muscle fatigue, delayed onset muscle soreness. There is no specific name for it. Post-workout muscle soreness. There is no specific name for it. Obviously not going to be that, because there's definitely a name. Otherwise, this question is stupid. And it is delayed onset muscle soreness. Basically, that pain in the arse you get after you've worked out really hard and then you can't walk or move the limb you just trained. What is the cure or remedy for muscle pain that one experiences after an intense workout? So cure or remedy for muscle pain. An anti-inflammatory. A specific prescription drug obtained from your doctor. A topical ointment applied directly on the muscle. There is no cure or remedy, live with it. I mean, I personally don't use a cure, but you can definitely take an anti-inflammatory. It's not going to be a specific prescription drug or a topical ointment. I'm going to go... Do you know what? I'm going to go anti-inflammatory. No, I'm going to go, there is no cure, live with it. That's what I'm going with. Anti-inflammatories don't really work for muscle soreness after intense workout. You just got to live with it. What is the condition more common among natural bodybuilders, just in case you didn't know, in which one would experience constant fatigue, headaches, lack of motivation, weight loss, loss of muscle tissue. Exercise fatigue syndrome, overexertion, overtraining, the plague. Gonna go with the plague. No. I've had the plague before. Not very nice. But in this case, it's gonna be overtraining. It's hard not to overtrain if you're an addict to the weights. If you're an iron addict, overtraining is part of the game. But it's not good for results. So we need to make sure that we're training properly and getting enough rest. Rest days are important. I'm just going to whiz through these now so we can get on to some better ones. If one is taking anabolic steroids, growth hormone and insulin, all of which increase muscle mass and performance, which ones or one will not be detectable by using current Olympic and IFB testing? How is this basic bodybuilding? This is how to cheat an Olympics drug testing, pretty much. I don't know why this is a question. Is this basic information? If it is, the Olympics need to sort out their testing standards. So which one will not be detectable using the current Olympic and IFB? Well, I would hope growth hormone is detectable. Growth hormone and insulin, again, growth hormone must be detectable. Anabolic steroids, again, must be detectable, so it's probably going to be insulin. 6. The repetition range most associated with mass building in the world of bodybuilding is 2 to 3 reps, 6 to 8 reps, 10 to 15 reps, 15 to 20 reps. Associated with mass building in the world of bodybuilding. This quiz is a strange quiz. Normally, if you're looking for the hypertrophy range, it's considered to be 8 to 12. Now, 6 to 8 and 10 to 15 could be either in this case. I honestly am not sure. I'm going to go 6 to 8. If you're going 50... the kids are... I've just suddenly got a lot less confident in getting that 90%. Considering it's 10 questions, and I'm now really having to guess at this point. It's 8 to 12! 8 to fucking 12! How many times do I have to say it? I'm just going to leave it there because it's annoying me already. Who would have thought you'd get this angry about simple, basic bodybuilding quiz? This is a wind-up. This is actually just a wind-up. What is the last name of the brothers who operate and run the world of professional bodybuilding? Welsh, Wheeler, Schwarzenegger, Weider. Joe and Ben Weider. What is the name of the most prestigious bodybuilding competition in the world? Mr. Olympia, World Bodybuilding Championships, Mr. Universe, Mr. World. Mr. Universe was an olden day competition. They used to do Mr. Universe competitions, and they used to do quite a lot of those. And then all the winners of the Mr. Universe competition used to compete against each other in the Mr. Olympia competition, which is the creme de la creme of bodybuilding competitions. So it is the Mr. Olympia. As we know to this day, if you are in the gym working your lats, which body part would you be focusing on for your workout? The lats, obviously, but whatever. Thighs, chest, back, forearms. Lats are here. They run along the side. They bring your elbow down and back. It is the back. Bam. See, some of these questions are simple. Simple as that. Basic anatomy. Others, how do you cheat an Olympic drug test? Come on. Which type of muscle fiber is associated with short, powerful movements? Fast twitch, medium twitch, slow twitch, intramuscular type 4 fibers. Your fast twitch muscles obviously contract fast. You have your type 2, they're called type 2 muscle fibers. And you have type 2A and type 2B, type 1 being your slow twitch. Short, powerful movements are going to be your fast twitch muscle fibers. So fast twitch. Submit my answers. Let's see. Moment of truth. We're going to move on. after this because I'm done with basic bodybuilding. I'm convinced it's a wind-up. Doesn't look like it's given me an overall score. Question 1, we got right, IFBB. Question 2, we got right, delayed onset muscle soreness. Well, it gives you little percentages as well. Looks like we did pretty well on this question. 42% of players have answered this correctly. And then that 42%. We got number 3 right. There is no cure or remedy for the pain. True, live with it. That is good advice. 56%. Number 4, overtraining. Got that right. 63% get it right. Convinced it's a wind-up. Convinced. Number 5, we put insulin. Apparently it was growth hormone and insulin. So I guess we were a little bit right because insulin was undetectable. You'd have thought growth hormone as well. That's a little bit worrying. I'm sure they've probably updated their Olympic testing since then. I don't know if that's a well-known fact. If it is, the Olympic Committee need to get on it right away. So it's a bit of a weird question. We'll move on. We got this one right. 6 to 8 reps for the mass building. 7, the Weider brothers run the IFBB. Ben and Joe Weider. Good again. 8, Mr. Olympia competition. 9, back. And fast twitch. 9 out of 10. The average is 6 out of 10. We got the 90%. We probably should have got the 100%, but obviously the growth hormone and insulin was a bit of a wind up and is probably not accurate to the present day. Next quiz, muscle exercises. A quiz on many aspects of bodybuilding from muscle isolation to posing. We are going to do the tough one. 354 plays, muscle exercises. Come on, we've got this. We're going for this one. 10 questions again. So we're getting 90% on this one, even though it was a tough difficulty. Average score 5 out of 10. Pathetic. Question 1. Which of these exercises would be most effective at working the brachialis muscle? Now the brachialis muscle, as we all know, is in the arm. It's the muscle that's underneath the biceps brachii, which are obviously your biceps. So the options are overhead extensions, dumbbell front raises, leg extensions, reverse curls. The best exercise for brachialis development is hammer curls, or are hammer curls. But another variation you can do are reverse curls. So we're putting reverse curls. The only downside to reverse curls is your grip gets worked quite a lot because obviously your hand is pronated, so the weight wants to slip out. So your grip has to be very strong, and therefore it's quite hard to emphasize the bicep contraction. 2. Which of these quadricep muscles is involved with hip flexion? Hip flexion, eh? Got our 4 quadricep muscles. Vastus lateralis, rectus femoris, vastus medialis, vastus intermedius. From what I am aware of, it is the rectus femoris that helps with hip flexion. Obviously, the hip flexor muscles are the prime mover and agonist for hip flexion. The rectus femoris is the secondary muscle. Number 3, the supplement creatine is used as a bulking agent. But what is its primary purpose in the human body? As an energy source utilized in anaerobic conditions, to prevent catabolism, as a protein synthesis stimulant, to flood more blood into the muscle cells. Creatine is an energy source utilized in the anaerobic conditions, aka creatine phosphate. 4. The long head of the tricep brachii determines the width of the arm when viewed from the front. Okay, so it does specify the long head. Now the long head actually runs along here, along the inside of your triceps. So when you view from the front, you can't see it. I assume they're talking about the short head here, which indicates the width of your arm. So we're going to put false. Which of these is not an advantage that compound exercises hold over isolation exercises? So not an advantage. More weight can be lifted. Well, that clearly is an advantage. Energy recovery time is quicker. Don't think so. A higher amount of testosterone is released in the body. Okay. More than one muscle is used during the movement. Which of these is not an advantage? See, these double negative, whatever these are, negative questions, double negative questions, they're always a little bit confusing. There we go. Energy recovery time is quicker, which obviously it's not. It's actually going to be quicker in isolation exercises where you're only contracting one muscle. If you're doing a whole body movement, a compound movement, you need to recover. You need a longer time to recover because you're working more muscles. It's probably going to engage your aerobic system as well, your cardio. Okay, if you're doing a lot of squats and you come back, you're going to be out of breath. So you need more time to recover. Arnold Schwarzenegger admitted to taking steroids during his career. True or false? Arnold Schwarzenegger has admitted to steroid use. You get me? I don't need to explain myself. I'm just going to say true. Move on. You can't overthink these things. That's how you get them wrong. And you end up with 5 out of 10. And then the quiz gets called tough. Generally, the largest release of human growth hormone is at what time of day? 6 a.m., 1 hour after a meal, just before sleep, 1 hour after the onset of sleep. Largest release of growth hormone. See, once you eat, you're going to use that energy to obviously restore muscles, grow. So it makes sense that after you've eaten, that is when growth hormone is at its highest and will be doing the most work. Not just before you go to sleep, not at a random time, 6 a.m., randomly you get a spike in growth hormone. And not just after you've gone to sleep. Although, that is the concern. It could potentially be after sleep. But in terms of likeliness, I'm going with 1 hour after a meal. When performing the front abdominal thigh pose, the hands are traditionally placed where? So front abdominal thigh pose. Bam. Quadriceps engaged. Abs engaged. One of my favourite poses. Classic Instagram pose. So behind the head, on the sides with thumbs tucked behind the lats. That's a lat spread. On the hips, that could be a crab pose. Parallel to the head with biceps flexed. It's going to be behind the head. In which phase of competition does a bodybuilder present his unique posing routine? Round 1, the pose down. Round 2, round 3. So round 1 is your prejudging. So it'll be everyone lined up. The pose down is obviously where the bodybuilders pose against each other. So you get a good comparison there. Then they just do their own thing. That's the pose down. Round 2, I believe, is the unique routine, the routine. And then 3 is the final comparison. So round 2 we're going with. Number 10, last question, moment of truth. Which of these muscles does a seated cable row not work? So seated cable row, simple movement. Biceps brachii, pectoralis major, latissimus dorsi, lateral deltoid. We're going to go lateral deltoid there. When you're rowing, your lats obviously, bit of that. Yeah, so your lateral deltoid, obviously down the side of your delt here, normally used for abduction of the shoulder. Pectoralis major, obviously when you're on the eccentric phase, your pectoralis major does get engaged. Obviously it's not the main focus of the exercise, which is the latissimus dorsi, the traps, the rhomboids, and then the biceps brachii with any rowing movement do get engaged as well. So we're going to go lateral deltoid there. Let's see what we get. Submit the answers. I'm hoping that, again, we've got 90% or over. Again, we don't get a result straight away. Question 1, reverse curls. Got that right. 53%. Get it right as well. Rectus femoris. Got it right. 50% of play. 50%, that's quite good. The rectus femoris, which is helping with hip flexion. Quadricep muscle helping with hip flexion. So well done to everyone. Creatine, energy source, used for anaerobic conditions. Used in anaerobic conditions. 48%, got that right. Long head of the tricep brachii determines the width of the arm when viewed from the front. We put false, that is right. 59% get that right. This is like 50% of most people get this right, but yet the overall is 50%. Strange. So that means either everyone gets everything right, and then the other half get nothing right. I don't know. Number 5, energy recovery time is quicker, which is not an advantage of a compound exercise over an isolation. 46 got it right. Arnold Schwarzenegger admitted to taking steroids. True. Right again. Generally, the largest release of growth hormone is at what time of day? 1 hour after the onset of sleep. Yep. Well, we got it wrong. It was between those two. Let's see what it says. Released in surges every 4 hours or so, HGH experiences its largest secretion 1 hour after sleep onset. Okay, is what it is. We learned something new. HGH secretes in cycles 1 hour after you go to sleep. It's at its peak, which does make sense. Silly. When performing the front abdominal thigh pose, the hands are traditionally where? Behind the head. Yep. In which phase of the competition does the bodybuilder present his unique posing routine? Round 3. Which of these muscles does a seated cable row not work? Apparently the pectoralis major as well. 7 out of 10. Pathetic. Nothing to dwell on. We'll admit defeat there. 7 out of 10. 105 points, whatever that means. I am interested in looking at particularly, so that was more of an exercise-based basic fitness quiz, but I want to try out the World's Strongest Man quiz and the Mr. Olympia winners or Mr. Olympia contest quizzes as well, because I guarantee you I will do better on them, and I want to see what kind of questions they have. It says difficult and then it says easy for the World's Strongest Men one, but as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't mean very much, because that last one, the basic bodybuilding, had some weird questions in. If you want to see those, please leave a like. Hopefully you learned something new today, because I definitely learned something new. That growth hormone, I'll make sure I go to sleep nice and early so I can get that growth hormone spike. And thank you for watching. Been a pleasure as always, and I will see you in the next video. See you later, guys.